Welcome to the Better Half on Sports. I'm Chantel Bushai.
I'm Drew Jones.
And I'm Livia Sandusky.
In our last show, I promised you guys more information about the Combine. So here's Routes Rundown, where I give you a recap on the NFL Combine and the top prospects. The NFL Combine just ended on March 5th, where it was held at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis this year. NFL kept their eyes on the top 5 quarterbacks, running backs like Saquon Barkley, and against the odds linebacker Shaquem Griffin. The NFL draft order currently has Cleveland at number 1. They also have the 4th pick due to trading draft picks with Houston last year. And just recently, San Francisco won the coin flip for the 9th overall pick because the 49ers and the Raiders ended the season 6-10. For day 1, Saquon Barkley from Penn State stood out among the rest. He pushed out more reps on the bench press than Luke Kuechly, had a faster run time on the 40-yard dash than Ezekiel Elliott, and jumped higher than OBJ. For the 2017 season, he rushed for close to 1,300 yards and completed a total of 21 touchdowns. Saints coach Sean Payton even said Barkley is the best running back prospect he has seen in 25 years. Day 2 was the most notable, with the top 5 quarterbacks showing what they can offer to a franchise. Among other quarterbacks, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson were being paid very close attention to. Sam Darnold didn't throw at the Combine because he has decided to throw at the Pro Day held at his school, USC. He did the running and jumping test, but he didn't jump as high or as far as the top quarterbacks. He will have to show his arm strength and accuracy when he gets the chance to throw for the NFL personnel. Josh Rosen from UCLA has been complimented on his footwork and mechanics. He has the accuracy and intelligence to be a great starter, but some NFL personnel may have been taking into consideration that he may not be a great leader. Josh Allen from Wyoming had the most impressive vertical jump than any quarterback, with a 33.5-inch leap and then a 9'11" long jump. He was also the fastest in the 3-cone drill and very accurate with his throws. Some say he was the winner at the Combine. Oklahoma's Baker Mayfield says he is confident, not cocky. He threw well at the Combine, but his height is questionable when it comes to success as a quarterback. Despite his 6'1" stature, he has passing efficiency and accuracy working on his side. Once Louisville's Lamar Jackson found out teams wanted to see his skills as a running back rather than a quarterback, he chose not to run the 40-yard dash and wanted to just throw. His accuracy is spotty, but he has an ability to create explosive plays. And then the best for last, Shaquem Griffin. Going against the odds, this linebacker wants to be the first one-handed player to be drafted in the NFL in the modern era. In his last 2 seasons at UCF, he had a total of 166 tackles, 18 sacks, and 2 interceptions. Not to mention, he busted out 20 reps on this 225-pound bench press. And then Pro Days start March 7th, and they go on for about a month at colleges across the nation. This has been your Routes Rundown. I'm Chantel Bushai.
Thanks so much, Chantel, for a little bit more information about the Combine. We do appreciate it. Now on to some of the main headlines. Le'Veon Bell, the running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, has been franchise tagged again. Now, he told ESPN last season if he was franchise tagged, he would consider retirement. So what do you guys think? Do you think he's being a little bit too greedy, or do you think he should fight for his value?
I think he's being too greedy. I think that, well, LaShawn McCoy is only being paid $9 million, so to jump $5 million, I feel like that's just a bit much.
And Drew, what are your thoughts about the fact that until he comes to an agreement here, he's not doing the workouts or the camps?
I definitely don't like that. I think if you are on you're playing a team sport, you're a team player, you need to go to the workouts, and regardless of what's going on the business side, you need to not distract and take away from what's going on with the team and have an opportunity to work with the rest of your teammates, because I think that definitely took away from the Steelers last season, is everything that was going on in the background with him and James Harrison leaving and going to the Patriots. That took away from their Super Bowl championship season that they didn't have.
And 14.5 seems like a generous offer, so maybe take the deal, start the workouts, get the team going.
Right, I agree.
But do you think that he'll maybe sign 6 days before the first game like he did last year?
Well, they have to come up with a deal by mid-July, so I think if they don't come up with a deal, he will probably wait until week 10 when he has to sign the paper in order to be considered an active player. So who knows? We'll see what happens. But I think the Steelers he's either going to have to come down or they're going to have to come up, and one or the other. I think that Le'Veon Bell is going to play for the Steelers for the rest of his career. Mm-hmm. Now, moving on to the NBA. So athletes and mental health, that's a really big topic. Athletes are kind of regarded as, being too strong and not having any anxiety or depression going on. But Kevin Love opened up about having a panic attack during a game. What's your guys' take on that?
Well, I do like how he tweeted out to people, like, if you have your story, send it to me to my email, and I will read your email. So I really like that about him. It shows a lot about him.
Yeah, and I think it's good. Oftentimes, I think we idolize and make athletes into these, like, larger-than-life characters, but when you have them actually showing their weaknesses off the court, things like mental health, things that normal people take into account daily that athletes aren't allowed to show, I think it really just lets us into their lives a little bit and shows us that, they aren't just these idyllic, like,
celebrities,
bigger than life people. Yeah, they're just humans that go through things just like we do.
I completely agree. And Steve Kerr was talking about how, moving on to a different subject, but still NBA, Steve Kerr talked about how undrafted players should be able to go back to the NCAA and play in school. What's your take?
They should get a chance at a different kind of future if they don't get into the NBA, for sure.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so. I'm surprised that this hasn't been recommended earlier. I feel like if that's what they want to do, they should have the right to do that with their career.
I mean, especially since there's not a league other than the G League for players, having the opportunity to go back, get their education, and continue another side hobby, if you will, until they have an opportunity to make it into the NBA, because players do need development, and right now the NCAA is the only place to get that type of development.
Exactly.
So that transitions into the one and done rule. Now, the NBA commissioner is talking about eliminating that completely, which is really interesting because of everything that's been going on with the FBI investigations with college basketball. So what do you guys think of the one and done rule?
It's really changing college basketball teams, the way that they're recruiting, the way that they're shaped. When you're one and done, when you're in and you're out, coaches have to really think about that when they're recruiting players, that if I pick up this superstar, I may only have him for one season to lead my team. So you've really got to think about, if this rule is gone, how does that change NCAA basketball? Will, if you keep your players for more years, will more schools be able to pick up titles?
It won't be as competitive.
Yeah.
And it's the same with baseball, too, in college. They can go straight to MLB or minor league, and they're just not competitive either. So I can see it going down that route.
Yeah. MLB, you've got the chance of going when you're 18 years old, which is unique compared to other sports, but this one and done thing, we'll see how it goes. Drew, what are your thoughts?
I kind of like the MLB's rule, though, where you can either go out of out of high school, or you have to stay in college for 3 years. Yeah. Which I like that rule because it one and done makes a mockery of a university's education, and you're taking a spot from another student or student athlete that could have utilized that for more than just a year or two. So I like MLB's rule in that regard. And the NFL, they have never had this problem.
Yeah.
You go to college, you get your development, and you go pro when you're ready. And yeah, there's sometimes players that leave early, but we know football players don't always go to college just to get an education.
Although NFL is leading in percentage of graduates among professional sports, which is pretty amazing.
Right. And what's funny is MLB is the lowest.
Yes. So who knows what's going on, actually.
Right. Well, that's all for our main headlines this week. Now on to Olivia's segment of Farm Watch.
Welcome to Farm Watch 2018. This is the LA edition. So today we'll be looking at the Dodgers and the Angels. Swinging on over to Dodger Town in Arizona, 12 of the players have been out with the flu. An insane number. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. They're 6-6 though, still, despite these illnesses, doing pretty average. And they have a top prospect, Alex Verdugo, who's really starting to shine. He's hitting .400 with a homer and 5 RBIs, doing pretty solid. And his outfield skills are getting some acknowledgement, but it's going to be hard for Dave Roberts to find him a spot in the starting outfield with people like Puig, Kemp, Taylor, and Peterson already competing for those spots. If we flip over to the Angels, Shohei Ohtani, that is the name of the game this year. Shohei Ohtani from the Japanese League. Angels picked him up. In Japan, he hit .332 and threw over 102 miles per hour on the mound. When's the last time you heard those two stats combined for one player? So the Angels are really banking on him to either be a huge success in their bullpen or come out fire and help Mike Trout pick a couple more RBIs up for this team. With other pitchers coming off of the injured list like Richards and Heaney, Ohtani may help the Angels secure a place in the playoffs this year. So those are some of the top prospects to watch for 2018 in the LA teams, and thanks for watching Farm Watch.
Back over to basketball. There's less than 17 games for some teams in the NBA, and we're seeing them making a push for the playoffs. In the Western Conference, the LA Clippers and Utah Jazz are on the Denver Nuggets' heels for 8th place. The Clippers and Jazz were ranked 4 and 5 at the end of last season. Looks like losing Blake Griffin wasn't the worst thing in the world for the Clippers. They are 9 and 4 since the trade, and Tobias Harris is averaging 19.6 points per game. Now over to the Eastern Conference, the Detroit Pistons are just 4.5 games back from playoff contention. However, even with the addition of Griffin, I don't think they'll make a comeback with their upcoming schedule.
Thanks, Drew and Olivia, for those segments. So please like our video, subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching. I'm Chantel Bushai.
I'm Drew Jones.
I'm Olivia Sandusky.